watching Overdrive. In December last year, Fiat announced its plans to bring the Jeep brand down to India. In the run-up to that, Bert got an opportunity to get behind the wheels of the 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee on its home turf in America. Here's his report.
Fiat has had a very torrid history in India. What was once a very successful enterprise has spiraled downward rapidly, and today Fiat is struggling in the Indian market. But things are about to change. They do have a plan in place, and there's a three-pronged strategy to this. The first, of course, is strengthening their sales support system. Now, that's been a big issue for Fiat customers in India. They'd never really had the support from the manufacturer, especially where parts availability was concerned. So Fiat is taking care of that. They're looking at strengthening that arm. The second prong is, of course, they're going to be increasing the dealer network. By the end of the year, they're going to have about 120 dealers, and that's going to grow on from there. And of course, the third is to strengthen their product portfolio. From the existing 2 cars, they're going to take it up to about 9 products in the Indian market. Now, 7 of these are going to be from within the Fiat stable itself, but 2 of these are going to come from Fiat's association with Chrysler, which makes the Jeep brand all over the world. Well, that is going to come down to India with the Jeep Wrangler and, of course, the Jeep Grand Cherokee.
The Grand Cherokee looks imposing, tough, brutal even, and its traditional 6-tooth grille continues to dominate the front face, but is now flanked on either side by slimmer headlamps and a new bumper right below.
There are 4 variants of the Grand Cherokee available globally, but we expect just the top of the line variant, which is called the Summit, to come down to India. Now, you get all the bells and whistles in its feature list. You get stuff like the touchscreen for the audio-visual and, of course, satellite navigation. There's also a TFT LCD screen for the instrument console, which shifts between analog and digital speedometers. Also displays the MMI information, a wealth of information on that display. You get paddle shifts behind the steering wheel. You get controls for the MMI, for cruise control and audio, all placed on the steering wheel. Leather upholstery all around, electronically adjustable seats, climate control, sunroof. Well, that feature list is long, it's expansive, and of course very rich. The Grand Cherokee will come down to India with 2 engine options. There will be a petrol and a diesel. In petrol, there are 2 petrol options, and we're not sure which of these is going to come down to India. There's a V6 and a V8 petrol, but the star of the show is definitely going to be the diesel. This is a 3-litre diesel, displaces about 2,998 cc with about 250 horsepower and 569 Newton meters of torque. That's an enormous amount of torque available, and it's a very linear diesel engine. There is barely any noise within this cabin. It's fairly refined, and this engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So drivability, well, drivability is comfortable. I wouldn't say this transmission is extremely fast, but it isn't very sluggish either. What I do like is that the torque is available from about 1800 RPM. So drivability in the city or out on the highways is going to be fantastic. The one bit that really marks out the Summit variant is its 4x4 drivetrain. You get the Quadra drive to it, a fairly advanced 4x4 drivetrain. It's got, among other things, an auto mode, which we've recently seen on the Range Rover. But here's the fun fact. Jeep was using an automatic mode in the 4-wheel drive system probably about 4 or 5 years before it was present on the previous generation Grand Cherokee, and still continues to serve in this SUV. And well, Range Rover was the one that actually started using it just now. So Jeep, well, has beaten one of its closest competitors. But this 4x4 drivetrain is a highly competent system. I've just driven this in some pretty challenging terrain, and well, it just comes off with flying colors. It's quite a competent SUV, does a fantastic job off-road. The strongest USP for the Grand Cherokee is going to be its phenomenal ride quality. This is a very comfortable SUV to drive, and that's thanks to a very soft suspension setup, quite similar to most other American cars. But that does not mean it compromises handling. This is still a fairly confident, fairly precise, safe and solid SUV when you're going fast around corners. There is a bit of body roll, but nothing that will affect the stability of this SUV. Almost every SUV manufacturer around the globe is constantly trying to make their SUVs more efficient, and one of these processes involves including electronic assistance to the power steering system. But Jeep, well, it continues to use a standard hydraulic assistance unit in the Grand Cherokee. And while I really shouldn't be complaining, there is an enormous amount of feedback that you get from the steering. It's still very precise, gives you the kind of confidence that you want in an SUV of this size and weight. But I do believe that having gone to an electronic assisted system could have given them a bit more of that benefit where fuel efficiency is concerned, and they've been trying to make all the effort possible to improve that aspect in this SUV.
On the road, the Jeep Cherokee is quite special, and it's slowly been eroding away my preconceived notions of purebred American vehicles being loud, brash and mannerless. But up next, I am going to be driving something very special.
So I've just driven the Grand Cherokee to the Circuit of the Americas, the US's latest Formula One circuit, where the inaugural Grand Prix took place in 2012 November. But the only reason I'm here is to drive the performance version of the Grand Cherokee. It's called the SRT. That's the performance division for Jeep. It's the equivalent of Mercedes' AMG or BMW's M division.
The SRT is quite spectacular on a racetrack. I never expected it to be as dynamic as it is. It just feels very confident doing what it does best, going fast everywhere. The V8 engine has an exhilarating note, and all the components in this tuned SUV come together beautifully to provide a fantastic driving experience. Who would ever believe an SUV could do this? It's just too bad the SRT may never come down to India, but the Grand Cherokee, if Fiat plays their cards right, they have a winner.